how to practice groove. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. A little bit messy, but you get the idea. So groove is the most important thing when you're playing electric guitar or any guitar for that matter. If you can't keep like the steady groove, then whatever you play is going to sound stupid, right? Now I made this exercise that I did with one of my students last week that really helped them. Well, I think it's going to help them. We'll see after this week, but I think it's a really good exercise. Now basically what it is you play on the 1 of every bar and you play the root note, okay? And then you improvise over that chord, okay? So the progression that I did here is A minor, G, F, but we're just gonna make a simpler progression for the example here. So we're gonna do, oh, and now my camera's not focusing, can you believe it? There we go. Okay, so we're gonna do A minor and G, okay, in the key of A minor. So A minor, what I'm going to do is I'm going to play on the 1, I'm going to play the bass note, and then I'm going to improvise as if there's a band playing. So it's going to sound something like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. And you can, just by me playing like that, you can figure out kind of what's going on. It's as if you hear the band in the background and the bass guitar and everything. And that's because I'm kind of imagining that in my head while I'm playing. I'm imagining a drum beat going boom, ka, boom, ka, boom, ka. It's hard to beatbox into it at the same time, but I'm imagining there's that beat in the background, and I'm kind of accentuating some of the same things that the drummer would. And that whole thing kind of makes the groove. So, for instance, the snare drum. So the kick is like boom, ka. So I'm accentuating that snare drum. I'm like, and that kind of gives me the groovy feel. It sounds as if there's a drummer inside of my guitar. And that's what you want to get at. You want to kind of accentuate the drums, and you want to hear the drums in your head. But the first part of the exercise is just to play on the 1, the bass note on the 1, and to keep your place within the bar. And that's going to be the hardest thing, keeping your place while you're busy coming up with cool riffs. So just like... So I know the question that you're going to ask me, what notes do I play to make it kind of sound cool? Now, all that I'm doing with the soloing is pretty basic, right? The only thing I'm doing is I'm playing in and out of triads. So what do I mean by that? So if I take A minor, I'm not thinking of this full chord, I'm just thinking of these 3 notes. And this is a triad, right? It's the 5. So this forms an A minor. So I'm playing in and out of it. So I'm going, that's in it, and then I'm going out maybe to the G note, and back into it, and back in, right? So out and in, out, in, out, in, right? I might go, that's out, and back into the triad. So thinking of the triads as little guideposts, and the triad is the chord. That's the chord, right? That's the chord. But you can't just play those notes. You can't target the chord tones. It will just sound stupid if I just go. It sounds cool at first because it's groovy, but if you don't go out of the triad and then back in, it sounds crap. So listen to if I start to go really out of it. So that was kind of cool, right? Because the moment you kind of put those out notes in there, it starts to sound pretty good. Same thing with the G chord. I'm thinking of this triad. Those 3 notes, okay? And you can also... Those are my notes for the G. So if I'm playing in and out of it, I'm going... On top of that, I'm thinking of my A minor pentatonic scale. So A minor or... Out in, out in, out in, out in. So there I'm bending out of the triad back into the G. And that's a very interesting way to explain it. I just thought of this before I made this video. Like somebody asked me, how do you... Because if you target the chord tones, it doesn't sound good. And sometimes if you play with just with your ear, it doesn't sound good. But the trick is to kind of move in and out of the triad. That's the only cool thing. And to develop patterns, right? So let's say in my A minor, I'm going out in the beginning. Out in, out in, out in, out in. So I'm starting on the second beat of the bar, I'm doing an out note, and then I'm doing in note inside the chord. And with the G, I did the same thing, but obviously it would be different notes then. You see what I'm saying? So with A minor, that many of the notes that are out of the A minor chord are inside the G chord. Let's take the B note, for example. That note will have a lot of tension on an A minor chord. So if I'm playing an A minor chord, why aren't you focusing? Come on. Sorry, guys. Come on, focus. Okay, never mind. I'm just going back to this one. So the B note on A minor. Okay. Some of you might be asking, how do you play like freely? Like sometimes I move quickly to this part of the neck. I've just memorized all my triads. I haven't memorized them, but I kind of know where the notes are. So this is an A minor. This is also an A minor. This is an A minor. This is like a A minor. that way I can kind of switch between the different triads easily, and I can go in and out of them anywhere on the fretboard. So if I'm doing the A minor, I can go. I think the problem is with the focusing. There we go. Okay, so let's say I were to do the same thing, but I want to go in and out of the triads here. So this is my A minor triad here, and this is my G triad, or okay. So then I go. Okay guys, so that's the basic exercise for how to practice groove. The next video that I'm going to do is going to be how to practice chord voicings, which is going to kind of connect with this one. Cheers!